2024, Fender celebrated the 50th birthday of the iconic Hello Kitty brand with a super cute and equally as mean-sounding pink fuzz pedal. You could also buy it in white, and they sold out super quick, and you can buy them now for overinflated prices on used gear websites if you'd like to do that. But it was a ripping, splattery, super evil sounding op-amp based fuzz. It cost about $100, so really not too expensive, and it sounded pretty cool. It went very viral. I didn't manage to get one before they sold out, and so in 2025, when a black version was announced, I snapped it up straight away. And yes, it's not quite as sweet as the pink version, but it does exactly the same thing. It's got Hello Kitty on it, it's got the same controls, the same everything, it's just black. And I like the color black, so I'm very happy with this one, and I've spent my own money on it, so you don't have to. And in this video, I'm going to show you how good, or maybe how not so good, this pedal sounds. I've got a single coil equipped Telecaster, I've got my humbucker equipped Les Paul, and I've got a baritone tuned down to drop A as well, so we can really hear how this sounds playing a variety of fuzzy styles of music. Now, timestamps to every part of this video are going to be down there in the description and the comments if you'd like to skip to a part that suits you best. But what I'm going to do first is tell you the specs and features, what you can expect for your money with the black Fender Hello Kitty Fuzz pedal. Now, this cost me 119 euros, so it wasn't that expensive in the grand scheme of things, but there are cheaper fuzz pedals out there, including, as many will have noticed, the Fender Hammertone Fuzz pedal, which is very similar to this one, although it has silicon transistors as opposed to op-amp tech included in the Fender Hello Kitty version. And the Hammertone Fuzz also has an octave circuit in it as well, so it's a similar sounding thing for less money too, and it has the octave circuit. Could that be worth your money? Well, you don't get the cute cat on that one, do you? So there you go. But anyway, 119 euros is what I paid for it, and you get 3 controls on this one: a tone knob, a fuzz knob, and a level or volume knob. You get it written in English and in Japanese as well. And here we have the cute little Hello Kitty logo, and this here, this space, is where you'd have the switch for the octave circuit on the Fender Hammertone Fuzz. Now, we have top mounted jacks here, so you're saving pedal board space. If you put this one on your board, you can power it via a standard 9-volt power supply or via a 9-volt battery. And there's an extra tonal trim pot inside this pedal as well that lets you adjust the tone of the pedal even more, focusing mostly on the high frequency parts of your tone. So this is the 2025 black edition of the Fender Hello Kitty Fuzz, and what we're going to do next is play it. We'll start with some single coil tones courtesy of my Fender Telecaster. Now, that guitar does have a neck humbucker fitted, but I've got it split down to true single coils at all times. And for my sins, I like to play my drive pedals into a clean amplifier, so we'll be doing that as well as trying the crunch channel of the amp too. My amp for today is my Hughes & Kettner Black Spirit 200, by the way. We'll start with the Telecaster on the amp's clean channel, then we'll do some riffs on the crunch channel of the amp, because fuzzes react very differently going into an already overdriven amplifier. And after that, we'll move over to the humbuckers of my Epiphone Les Paul, first on the clean channel of the amp, then on the crunch channel of the amp. After that, we'll go into my Boss OC5 octave pedal, and we'll bring some octave down and possibly some octave up fun to proceedings as well. We'll do some Jack White stuff, some White Stripe stuff, some Black Keys stuff. Garage rock, effectively, is what we're going to do there. We'll see how the Hello Kitty Fuzz handles that. And after that, it's time for some baritone action. I've currently got the Harley Benton Agufish signature baritone model here on loan to make some videos with, so sub to the channel if you want to see those in the next few weeks. That comes standard tuned to drop A, so the bottom A string on that is an octave down from the standard A string on your standard electric guitar, so that's very low tuning. We'll hear how the Hello Kitty Fuzz handles that. Once we're done with that, I'll do a couple of riffs where I twiddle the tone internal trim pot on the pedal so we can hear how that affects the overall tonality of the pedal. And I should just say that fuzzes are very fussy things occasionally. They like to be as soon as possible in your signal chain, so wherever possible, I'll be going straight from my guitar into the input of the Hello Kitty Fuzz with nothing in between to mess with the signal whatsoever. The only time I won't be doing that is when I'm using the Boss OC5, because I'll be running into that and then into the fuzz. And that does have the Boss buffer in it, but Fender tell us that this pedal is absolutely fine with buffers. So we'll hear how it sounds. Enough talk then, it's time to play the 2025 Fender Hello Kitty Fuzz. Enjoy the riffs and the tones. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget, you can head to the different timestamps to get to the parts of the video you'd like to watch best, and I'll see you on the other side and give you a few more of my opinions about this pedal. So that was the 2025 Fender Hello Kitty Fuzz, and I hope you enjoyed the playing, the riffs and the tones. Please leave me your comments down there telling me whether or not you think I wasted my money on this thing, or whether or not you think this is actually a mean, ripping sounding beast of a fuzz. And I have to say, first off, as soon as I plugged this thing in, well, I was majorly surprised at how evil it sounds. Hello Kitty is such a cute and lovely and wholesome brand, and combine it with this fuzz and it just kind of doesn't work in a way, because this thing sounds so mean and it's instantly transporting your guitar tone into sludge and doomy and sort of really evil sounding affairs. So it's a great fuzz pedal in that way. One thing I did notice straight away on the clean channel of my amp with the Telecaster was that I had to turn up all the knobs all the way, and that's basically the way to run this thing with a clean amplifier. Everything up to 10, and then you can adjust your guitar's volume knob to taste if you'd like to do that. But turn everything up and that is the way to go with this thing. Slightly different on the crunch channel. There I found that lowering the volume and the fuzz a bit enabled me to get a bit more control over my tone when I wanted that. But again, whacking everything up for doom and sludgy riffs is absolute heaven. So this is a beast of a fuzz, and it makes single coil pickups and humbucking pickups sound equally fat. Now I think it fell down slightly with the baritone. It was super dark, super woolly, not tight at all, and maybe the drop A tuning was just a bit too much for it. I mean, it did sound huge for the really slow, sludgy riffs that I did with it, but if you're going to want to tighten things up, I would imagine a baritone in standard B tuning might be your limit there. Or perhaps you could tweak your amp slightly differently. I did roll off all the bass in my tone and I upped the treble and so on to try and make it sound a bit tighter with the baritone, but I just wasn't getting the results that I wanted. I do have to say that the pickups on the Agufish baritone are super high output as well. I did have the humbucker split at all times, but it just didn't seem to get quite as tight as I would like. But with a more fitting baritone, maybe with P90s or true single coils and slightly lower output, you could get some amazing baritone sounds with this thing. And when we had the fuzz almost rolled off all the way, it did sound really nice and atmospheric. I could imagine a huge reverb and some tremolo, and you'd be in really nice baritone territory. So it's a wonderful sounding thing for certain genres of fuzz, but I don't think this is going to be an ideal choice if it's your first pedal, if it's your first fuzz, if you're a first time fuzzer. You might want to go for something a little bit less fiddly, because this one is really full on and in your face, and if you've not really used fuzzes before, you might be a little confused at how broken this is making your guitar sound, but I really appreciate that sort of thing. I did think that this pedal sounded fantastic with the Boss OC5 octave fuzz, especially with the octave down. We had some amazing garage rock riffs going on. It sounds huge and fat, and it just worked really well for that. Of course, every fuzz pedal is going to do that if you add the octave pedal in front of them. Adding the octave up was also a nice touch. That always gives Hendrixy overtones, at least to my ears, and it worked really well here as well. One more thing about the tones to mention then is that I think the internal trim pot doesn't really need to be fiddled with. It comes as stock, turned all the way up, and you can turn it down to reduce high end in your tone, but I think this pedal's already fairly dark. I preferred having the tone knob up at 10 the whole time anyway, so reducing any of the high frequencies further just didn't work for me. But of course, that's going to be a taste thing for you guys as well. Anyway though, tones, I really rate this highly if you know how to use it and if it is the right kind of fuzz for you. What else do I like about the pedal? Well, straight away I want to say it looks fantastic. Okay, it's not as sweet as the pink one, but it is a great looking fuzz. I love the fact that we've got the Hello Kitty logo and the mascot there. I love the Fender witch hat knobs and the pink flourishes. This is simply a lovely looking pedal, so it's really nice in that respect. I don't think I'm going to put it on a pedal board because I want to keep this one in the box so it stays in nice condition, but I will be wheeling it out for videos on this channel and for other musical projects in the future. So it looks great as well. Build quality wise, I think it's really decent. It's really solid. I won't be stomping on it too much in earnest because I want to keep it looking pristine, but it is built very well indeed. And for the price, 119 euros or about $120 in North America, I don't think it's too bad at the end of the day. What don't I like about this pedal so much? Well, it's actually a really decent pedal and it's all relative, but it's not the most flexible pedal in the world. It's fantastic at what it does, that dark, spluttery, rip-roaring, evil, doomy fuzz. But if you want something a bit friendlier, a bit kind of easier to use as well, a bit more flexible, there are going to be other options out there, especially if you don't want to be rolling your guitar's volume knob up and down in tiny increments every few minutes. But that's also a selling point of this fuzz as well. It sounds huge, it sounds evil, it sounds nasty, and I mean all of those three things in a very good way. I think the other thing about this pedal which is not ideal is the fact that like every fuzz it gets noisy, but again, that's part of the fuzz game as well. And finally, this pedal is probably going to sell out pretty quickly and is probably going to be available used at overinflated prices at some point in the future, so make sure you get one at the reasonable, correct price before that happens. Not Fender's fault, I don't think, but that's something which I see as a downside with pedals like this on limited releases. So if you've been watching this video and you like the idea of the Fender Hello Kitty Fuzz, but you're wondering, is there a better way to spend $100 on a fuzz pedal in 2025 and beyond? Well, there are a few options that you could go for. I think the internet wisdom would tell you to go for the Fender Hammertone Fuzz, which, if you believe the photos you see online, has a very, very similar, possibly identical basic circuit to the Hello Kitty Fuzz. That's about $75 or about $80, so about 40 or 50 cheaper than the Hello Kitty Fuzz without any of the cute branding, and it also has an octave circuit built in as well. Now, the circuits do differ in that the Hello Kitty Fuzz is an op-amp fuzz and the Hammertone Fuzz is a silicon transistor fuzz, but from the sounds I've heard online, they do sound very similar indeed. I'm going to pick up a Hammertone Fuzz very soon, and I can do a comparison for you folks if you'd like to see me do that, so let me know in the comments if you're interested. But that's always going to be a great option, especially because you have that built-in octave circuit that you can try for extra flexibility as well. And otherwise, in terms of the world of fuzz, well, a great beginner's fuzz is going to be a big muff, hugely different sound, but there is an op-amp model if you definitely want to have an op-amp fuzz in your life. There are so many different big muff models out there for so many different prices, and most of them are going to be more affordable than the Hello Kitty Fuzz. Now, otherwise, if you want some evil but basic sort of fuzzes for around the $100 mark, you can't go wrong with something like the Walrus Audio Fundamental Fuzz. I have a video of that elsewhere on my channel. That has 3 modes. It's massively mean sounding, and I really, really like it. Or you could try something like the JHS 3 Series Fuzz pedal. That's a great option for $99 or a bit over €100 on this side of the pond as well. Or try something a bit crazy like the B-Tronics Tuner Fuzz, which is literally built inside a tuner can. That's about $100 and is a fantastic, mean, super simple sounding fuzz pedal as well. Or you could go down the super budget route and try the TC Electronics Honeypot Fuzz or their Rusty Fuzz. Those are both fantastic, and you'll be able to buy both of them for way less than the price of the Hello Kitty Fuzz. But fuzz is such an individual effect, and it will sound different based on how you set it, based on what your guitars and pickups are, based on what your amps are, based on what kind of music you play, and based on how you play as well. It's totally individual, so I'd highly recommend, if you get the chance, go and try one of these in person before they're sold out, and try out all of the rest of the fuzzes as well, and you'll find one which works best for you and the styles of music that you play. Now, I currently have at least 30 fuzzes in my collection. I'm always buying more, and there will be more in future, and I love all of them. They're all very, very different, and the Hello Kitty really has earned its spot in my collection. Overall then, I'm a really big fan of the Hello Kitty Fuzz, and I'm personally very happy that I spent my own money to get this thing. It doesn't really sound like any other fuzz that I own, despite me having so many to date and having tried way more. So it's going to come out whenever I need walls of fuzz brutality. This is a doomy, sludgy, sputtery, ripping sort of a fuzz that just works for so many heavy styles. It's not a subtle pedal by any means, and it's great for what it is. If you like it, grab one before they're gone, and if you don't, well, you can try out any one of the hundreds of other fuzz pedals out there. And that's the beautiful thing, there is a fuzz pedal out there for everybody. Yes, even you. Now, I hope that this video has answered all of the questions that you may have had about the 2025 Black Edition of the Fender Hello Kitty Fuzz, but if there's anything else you'd like to know, drop me a line down there in the comments and I shall do my best to answer you. And if you're still around, would really make my day if you wanted to give the video a like, or maybe even sub to my channel, because that really, really does help, and I really mean that. But that's been it for today's video. I've been Rich, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.